Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Coffee and Conversation right here on Yachting International Radio. My name is Ria. I am your host, and I am joined today by Stefan from Stark Incorporated, right?
Yes. Hi, Ria.
How are you?
Beautiful. How about yourself?
Good, thanks. You're coming from beautiful Greece at the moment. What is it like there right now? Is it sunny and beautiful, or?
It's very beautiful. It's around about 18 degrees, and I'm looking at the ruins of Athens, so it's really nice.
Yes, well, your job does tend to take you around the world to some very beautiful and exotic places. You are a computer guy, well, not computer, cybersecurity, essentially.
Right, a cybersecurity specialist. Yeah.
Yeah, and generally people that are a cybersecurity specialist, you come from a hacker background then.
Yes. So it's cybersecurity. Hacking is basically breaking something, but yes, it is involved in that. Yes.
Yeah, that's, I guess, the best way that you learn how to, it's like anybody and anything, you learn how to fix something by breaking it first, right?
Exactly.
There have been quite a few cybersecurity attacks around the world, and I think in general, we don't take security with our personal devices and with our systems as seriously as we should.
Yeah, I would say since January 6th, the recent attacks on the United States and then the European Union were possible because most of the people have the mindset, they say, I have nothing to hide, or somebody said if you have nothing to hide in the days of cybersecurity, it's like you have nothing to say in the days of freedom of speech. So the way you handle the small things on your private security, you basically do it in a corporate environment as well. And sadly, most of the viruses spread online over cloud drives. Because somebody didn't pay attention that a Word document was not a Word document, copied it into a cloud storage, which was connected to another company's. And so that's how it spread. And people then also didn't know what to do. So instead of like turning the machine off, unplugging whatever it is on network, they're like sending emails to the IT support. So the basic steps on what to do were missing. And that's basically when corporates not introducing or policies and enforcing them. So a lot of times it's human failure because humans fail to incorporate policies.
So when somebody makes, I mean, you can have the best security system in the world, but it really does come down to the human factor.
Right, you cannot put an antivirus or a firewall into a human person. So the person at the end is who opens an email attachment, a memory stick, or whatever it is. And if there's a new string of a virus code, which is brand new and not have seen or introduced to the world, the antivirus will not catch it. So sadly, that was the case. That's why governments, humongous corporations got hacked. I mean, we all saw TravelX, we saw QuickBooks, we saw Microsoft, Google, tons of companies, House Perfect. They all got hacked by the same virus, which was not somebody sitting there and hacking your computer. It was literally somebody opening something they're not supposed to open.
So how common is it today for new viruses? How often do new viruses get produced, essentially?
I think most of them are like produced by taking what was there and changing it a little bit. According to AVG Avast, it's around about 3,000 a day. Most of them, like probably 90% of them, are already known, and by the hash, by the string, the way they are built, they're actually being captured. And because most of the antivirus firewalls, etc., they're connected to the cloud, so if one machine sees it and reports this incident, it gets distributed to everything. So this is a big advantage compared to like 10 years ago.
So what is the purpose behind a virus? I mean, is it to steal financial information? Is it just to create chaos? Is it just because, somebody is 15 years old and seeing if they can take down a corporation? What are the purposes?
I mean, the kiddies, we call them script kiddies that take down corporations. It's just try and error, and they find something on the internet and they want to do it. In this case, it was basically about money. So I was assisting law enforcement in the US and in Europe, and we had conversation with the hackers behind it and negotiated ransom. And the clear statement of these people were, we're going to give you the antivirus, the antidote, and you get all your data back if you pay us. And we say, like, which guarantees do we have? And the answer was, we want to money. We just want money. So if we wouldn't make our end work, nobody would pay. And it has been paid a lot. A lot of money was paid. So from different corporations. And so it worked. They got their data back. But then also in the second minute later, they were like, I give you 30 days to secure your IT infrastructure. That should be more than enough to get a good IT team together. If not, we're going to hack you again. So, and it's fair enough. But if you get hacked because you saving on one end, it might gonna come back to you post-mortem.
I guess that's the same as, kidnapping attempts or anything like that. If you give in to a demand or somebody's trying to blackmail you, you give in to that demand, essentially they're going to come back. And that makes it difficult.
And a lot of corporations just had no other options. But then also, I visited a hospital based on the philanthropy work that I do for kids with cancer, and the hospital is running on Windows 7. I was like, guys, you're running Windows 7. You're not supposed to because of compliance in the United States. And they said literally, we don't have the money to upgrade to the safer system. I was like, you have thousands and thousands of patients' information, social security number, addresses, etc., and you don't have the funds to upgrade. And it comes down to outdated security systems, people not knowledgeable. So it's just simply so fast paced that people have a hard time of keeping up because there's so much money involved.
So what would you suggest that people do to safeguard against getting hacked?
I mean, if you're individuals, the first thing I would do is get the latest updates to close security gaps on your operation system. It doesn't matter if it's Apple or Microsoft or Google, whoever it is. The second part is get antivirus, anti-malware, stuff like this, and get a subscription-based model, because people always ask me, what is the difference between the free version and the paid version? The free version just monitors what's on your computer, and if you get hacked, you already got hacked. The active versions has different kinds. It's called shields, like it monitors your browsing behavior, programs that you open, stuff that you download, stuff that is on your computer. So, and it's permanently updating over the cloud. It even warns you if it's not able to get to the internet and downloads the latest updates. So I would say that's one part. But the second part is educate yourself. Like, don't use one password for everything. Use a safe password. Don't save all your logins into a Word document, so when you need it, you pull it up while you're sitting in a Starbucks and people take a picture of it. So it's a little bit also common sense that people make sure that the environment they browse and it's most safe, and they use common sense to keep it safe. Like, don't give passwords over the phone. And every time I give speeches, we have the audience, we have hundreds of people in the audience. I talk about passwords, and there's always one person, and I always say, like, do not say anything, just take it in. Yeah, that's me. I had a person actually standing up in an audience saying, my password is blah, blah, blah. Is this a safe password? I was like, what is your email? And she said the email. I was like, you literally just repeated your email and your password in a full audience, and it's like, change it right away. So people are not so knowledgeable about it. It's just, they just haven't learned it. So that's a huge, humongous gap. And then you have the age also in between, that people in age, higher, whatever, they're not so tech savvy. So it's the same thing. They get handed electronically, but no information.
For all those people that believed for the longest time that Apple was safe from any hackers, what do you say?
So I do this for years roughly, and the virus that I have seen was one of the best viruses, probably the best viruses in the world. The virus actually, or the ransomware, it was running on Apple, it was running on Windows, it ran over the network on USB drive. It was live encrypting files. Normally on a computer, if you have a file open, you can change it with another program, but this one actually took over the open file, encrypted it, and was it. So the question is, if Avast, and you can name different antivirus companies, sell solution for Apple, if they spend money of developing it, there must be a reason why they're doing it, right? So I have seen a lot of viruses on Apple. So
you're not safe if you have an Apple, and that is just a myth.
No, even if Apple only has in IT 5% of the world's market, it is a higher end product. And if you look at Cisco only runs on Apple. So obviously, if there is an industry that has money, people will target this industry because it's about money most of the times.
Well, earlier in the year, actually, no, it was late last year, I think it was, Norma Treese was kind enough to arrange for you to do a tour in a marina in Fort Lauderdale. Now, the reason we arranged this tour was to see how easy it was for you, as somebody with knowledge in hacking and with knowledge in security, to go into a marina and access not only the yachts, the marina itself, the entire system. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience for you?
Yes. So I was, first of all, I'm very grateful for Norma. She's amazing. But then also when I looked at these multi-million-dollar yachts, I was very impressed by what money can get you. But on the other hand, I was also shocked because the way marinas work, and it's almost like you're giving a guidance for the bad guys. If they're on the ocean, they use technology that you can't really secure as of now. And by January 2021, every single vessel over a certain value and size needs to be cybersecurity safe. So they have to really up their game. And the second part, which is the huge vulnerability, the moment they go into a marina, they connect to a Wi-Fi which belongs to the marina. And the password is literally like my password, for example, which every single person on this marina Wi-Fi connected with my phone, and I could scan all these machines that I connected, and I could see everything. And if somebody doesn't have an encrypted VPN or open source or clear text stuff, you can literally capture data packages, or people submit the name of their computer, and it was literally almost wide open. So there needs to be some work done that people get more awareness, because owners of these multi-million-dollar vessels obviously doing business on these boats as well. And so if you use your laptop and your transactions, stuff like that, and you get one of these viruses that they can monitor what you do, then that's really bad.
Well, and we've had conversations in the past in regards to the fact that they will tap in. A hacker can come to a marina, for example, tap into a multi-million-dollar yacht, and 6 months down the road, enact whatever plan it is that they have, whether it be they want to kidnap for ransom or whether or not they want to take over your bank account. So you're never able to sort of track it back. Do you think that people are aware of this?
I highly doubt it. When we were talking, the first question when we were talking with law enforcement, they asked my opinion if they think it was a payload. A payload means that I will hack your computer right now, put a little bomb there, and the bomb spies on you, takes your data, whatever, and sends it all to me. And if I want to cause, in this case, what they did was you want to cause global awareness and damage, you explode this tiny bomb, the payload, actually at a certain point at the same time of a lot of machines. So if you have this like timed one after another, then it doesn't cause really awareness. If one goes here, a week later there, but you all shut down corporations in the same 48 hours, it causes a huge awareness. So I'm pretty sure that there are ways that people already planted payloads in their systems where people have no antivirus, no encryption, stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so I mean, what they're doing is you could have taken control of any of those vessels, because a lot of them are really tied in electronically, not literally taking the boat and making it go away, but literally you could have taken control of the systems entirely.
Now, the systems, I would say the IT infrastructure, if it's not secured, you can get informations out of it. I mean, you cannot remote control the boat, but
No.
because it's a separated system, but you could get or gain access to their IT infrastructure.
Well, no, the boats are going that way, though, aren't they? I mean,
Right.
they are more
Right.
and more every day. They're becoming built in order to be almost remote control. So if they don't step up their game, somebody could literally take control and they would have nothing that they could do about it.
Yeah. So it is. So we made a test with a device we built. Right now, we tested it to create a black hole to make sure that if you have a confidential conversation on the boat, you flip a switch and every single communication, it doesn't matter if it's Bluetooth or wireless internet or satellite or GPS, it will be totally off the radar. So which could be used in both ways. But then also, if you have everything connected to each other, every vessel is visible to the public. You can go to the internet and track every vessel on the planet. Unless they don't want to be tracked, it's illegal to turn it off. But a lot of captains know that you can turn it off, and then the vessel technically disappears from the radar, which also is a high risk. But because everything is interconnected, and if you run there, one of the computers that we found on board that handles the entire navigation was Windows 7, and I asked them, like, isn't that an outdated system? And they said, like, yes, but Windows 7, this computer is not connected anyway. It's just a standalone computer, so which is great. It will work if nobody puts a memory stick in, but it only takes, and that's what I learned in the United States, it takes a smart guy or a moron to screw things up. So if they're maintaining the system, some of the staff that comes over that maintains the system and has an effective memory stick and puts it in there, sure, the computer is not on the internet, but you might kind of screw up the system. And so I think if you have a certain amount of money to buy a vessel, you should do your living best to make the vessel safe. And a lot of times, not only on the yachting industry, the infrastructure, the IT is seen as an unwanted child, like it's working, we don't need it, and only when it's broken people realize how important it is. And I always tell people it's a tool. If your tool breaks, you can't work, and that mindset needs to be educated and needs to be changed.
Well, and how easy would it be for someone to actually hack a camera, for example? So a device on board, whether it be a laptop, whether it be, some sort of a handheld device, they can access cameras, they can record things.
I mean, it's fairly easy. I mean, if you consider the way it goes, right? Camera connects to your Wi-Fi system or connects with the cable to your network system, and it goes either over the marina Wi-Fi, which you're connected to go online, or over your satellite uplink on board that you either have a subscription with or not. So then you go to the cloud. So then you use your phone and your app to connect and see the camera. So now if your creature of habit and your password is 123 password, which is one of the most common passwords used, you can easily run an attack, and your email address is, if you say, I forgot my password, a lot of times it asks you to reset it by whatever, what is your dog's name or stuff like that. So if you gain access, let's say, for example, you have D-Link or whatever you call all these providers, your Nest or whatever, I can log on with the username and password. I can see everything on your camera, and wherever the camera is connected to transmits the picture. So I could actually spy on you without you using it. So if you have a cloud connected camera. So that's why it's so important to create credentials that are safe, and security questions don't have to be answered honestly. If you say, what's my cat's name, just make it your honeymoon location or something, because if people can make a blueprint of you, they can hack you.
Well, and another thing is that there's a light that glows when your camera is functioning. Is it possible to turn that light off, that notification light off?
You can turn on and off the light. You can turn on and off the night vision. Some cameras even have controls that you can move the camera remotely. So once you have access to it, you turn it off. One of the biggest mistakes corporations do is when they hire, and I've seen this over and over and over, they hire companies to put in video systems to record everything in their office location, and they put this video system onto the internet so they can see it on their phone when they're home, or they can see it over the browser. But they didn't remove their access. So if somebody scans the internet and then they didn't remove the program access, the command line access, and these DVRs have usually admin, and people change their password to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and A, whatever. These passwords are not hard to get. If I'm getting to your DVR, not only as I have access to your DVR, I'm in your network, your corporate network, and from there you can go to the rest of your environment. So a lot of times people do not secure passwords on DVRs, on TVs, or internet connect. I mean, I literally saw in Germany a tea machine connected to the internet. You scan a barcode of a tea bag, it brews the tea, and it sends you an email when your tea is ready. This thing is connected to your local office network as well. So, I mean, nobody hacks a tea machine, obviously, but it is something else. You bring your own device, obviously, you have to make sure that it is set up correctly.
So generally speaking, from speaking with you, straight across the board, people just aren't as aware. I mean, I think we're more worried about getting, for example, mugged on the street. We're taking self-defense courses. We're taking all sorts of courses, but maybe one of the biggest real threats that exist is sitting right in our own home, looking very innocent.
Right. I mean, I ask people a lot of times the same question. When I see people on public locations, airports, hotels, I ask them, you taped your camera, right? Yes, but you don't have a privacy screen. And so that's what we do. So I'm always like to ask the same question. Would you be more concerned if I would be stealing your nude pictures from your laptop or all your personal data? 99% of the people say, I have nothing to hide. I'm more concerned about my pictures. They don't understand if I have your first name, your last name, your social security, I can create bank accounts and stuff like this. I can ruin you financially or even commit crimes on your name. And the mindset is just not there. And so, yeah, the IT, the way you handle your local IT should be increased by value, that you know what you're doing. And then if you don't need it, like take it off. For example, People make, if you want to buy Bitcoin, a stupid example, you want to buy Bitcoin, so you have to verify because it's regulated. So you show your ID into the camera. The browser needs access to your camera for the verification. And you're happy, you verified, you can buy Bitcoin. But almost nobody gets the idea to go to your system settings and say, remove the browser's access to the camera that I just granted. So the browser permanently has access to your camera. Why not removing it? Nothing needs to be connected all the time. So many programs need access to your microphone, to your camera, etc., etc. If you don't use it, turn it off. Just it's on need basis only.
So when it comes to big corporations and to those people that, for example, own yachts and marinas, what would your suggestion be for them?
I would say educate the employees first, and of course keep your infrastructure up to date and maintain, because it's not like I'm investing 10,000 or whatever amount of dollars and get everything to the status quo what is up to date today. You have to keep maintaining it, and then also on a regular basis have meetings with your staff, educate them, because people tend to forget. I mean, we made a test years ago when we educated companies. We called it Angelina and Brad Pitt. So once we gave a training, 2 weeks later, we placed strategically memory sticks and saying like Angelina or Brad Pitt naked on it, and people plugged it in and tried to look it up, and we put a small virus on it. And they have been taught not to do so, and the USB ports, we disabled them, or they use their own laptops, but people used to forget. So it needs to be enforced and obviously repeatedly trained on, because you also have saturation of staff. So, yeah,
So it really does come down a lot of the times to human error.
human error, yes.
Right. So I guess it's straight across the board. It doesn't matter whether you're in yachting or whether you're not in yachting, but you would assume that those people that have these multi-million-dollar yachts would make sure that their vessels are safe, especially if they're doing business on board. But even if you're just a middle-class person sitting in suburbia, North America,
Right.
it is smart because you still can be affected, even if it's, it could possibly just be a 15-year-old seeing if they can have some fun. Or it could be somebody that is seriously after your bank account or your details in order to commit crimes.
Right. And I also tell people like it's the same like you have to have an operation, right? You wouldn't go to get a guy from Craigslist to do a heart transplant. So I always tell them to get more than one opinion. So get an opinion, have somebody evaluating your infrastructure, take a look at the reputation. Is the person Microsoft, Cisco, Apple certified? What is written about this company? And that's the first part. The second part, what I would do is get an estimate about everything in detail in writing. What is the weak spot, the stronghold? Have another company do exactly the same thing so you can compare and see if you're actually having same information from both corporations.
Wonderful. Well, do you have people that you recommend for these type of things, or you as well go to corporations and do these training sessions with their people?
Yes, we do audit trainings, and we also do auditing for security for corporations. But a company that is certified, like we are listed on the Microsoft website as Microsoft certified partners, and the same thing with Apple and stuff like this. So if you look up for a company, no matter where you are located in the world, I would look up for, if you want to have somebody who maintains your Microsoft environment, who better can recommend somebody than Microsoft? So you can call Microsoft, pinpoint saying, hey, we need somebody in our location who's certified. Same thing with Apple. They have Apple Consultant Network, Cisco. They will recommend you the right people. But then also you have to spend more money. You can't just get somebody from Craigslist. That's like the natural behavior is like, oh, it's only $20 an hour. People, you have to understand that knowledge is paid. Not. I always tell people like, if you go to Smith & Wollensky and you ate a steak, you're not paying the steak if you eat it in 3 minutes. You pay the steak. It doesn't matter how long you need to take it. So you pay people's knowledge, and the knowledge costs money, because at the end of the day, it costs you more money if you have the wrong knowledge applied.
Do you know what? I think people in the yachting industry understand that, because the amount of tickets that cost a lot of money in order to get into yachting and in order to sort of achieve your goals. So they are paid accordingly. So I think they do understand it. It's just very difficult for them to apply that to the digital side of things and the computer side of things, because frankly, a lot of people just don't understand it.
I agree. 100%. And so you have to find a way that explains it in layman terms so people will understand what this technology is about and how vulnerable you are if it's abused.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time, Stefan. You are usually somewhere in the world. Today you're in Greece, and last month you were in Dubai. You were in China. I never quite know where you are, but you are always proving invaluable in any any questions that I have regarding my computer and IT and security. So I thank you for that. I will provide your details if anybody is interested in reaching out and maybe getting you or your team to come and teach them a little bit about cybersecurity and how to make sure that their yacht or their office is properly prepared for the future, because everything is going digital nowadays. It's every year we're seeing more and more stuff going digital. We're starting to see actual ships, like we said earlier, becoming remote controlled. Now that is IT, and that is the internet. So if you are not safely protected, then you're in a little bit of trouble.
All right.
Thanks again for your time. You've been watching another episode of Coffee and Conversation right here on Yachting International Radio. That has been Stefan with Stark Incorporated, and we will touch base with him at another date in the future. I am sure the next time there is a cybersecurity attack around the world, because no one knows better than Stefan.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.